You're a writer, a producer, an actor. So let's start there, because I think that anybody that's not in the filmmaking world, they don't understand wearing one of those hats is not an easy thing to do. Wearing three of those hats is extremely difficult. Wearing three of those hats on one film, well, I mean, that's just insane. So talk about that. When you started to write this film, did you know, okay, I'm going, because a lot of times you'll write it and you'll go, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm going to be the writer, and we'll get somebody behind it to produce it. We'll get somebody. Did you know right away that you were going to be going into it as all three?
I did. It's so funny because I was asked, like, sort of, what is the genesis of sort of like this strategy that I have? And it's, I've produced other movies, but it seems as if, when I write them, I also act in them. And it sort of all stems from the fact that, back in the day when, when I was around other like-minded people trying to break into the industry, we have no idea how or what we're doing, that type of thing.
Right.
You basically had each other, and you would, work with each other. You would act against each other for auditions, try to get better all the time. And, at the time, like if you didn't write a script, you didn't have a script. And so what you'd have to do is you'd have to start putting things together. And then, you get enough people interested. Once again, everybody's, trying to, get an agent or working on their reel or just trying to cut their teeth on a set type of thing.
Right.
You wore multiple hats, not because you wanted to, but that was the only option, I mean, there'd be like a scene, that, I might have written, but I'm also performing into the camera, but holding a light up, all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we're laughing because we've all been there. We've all seen it. And it's like, you're trying to like look dramatic and you're sitting there feeling like you're a statue, And so, as things sort of developed, that was sort of the mindset that I had. It was just like, it's not, this is what I want to do. This is what you got to do.
Mm.
So, I never really went to film school. I went to acting school, but I learned more through apprenticeship than anything else.
Right.
And I did a very good job of listening. And, it's interesting because we're all, going through the path less taken. And what better way to navigate than people that have sort of kind of slayed their own way through it,
Right.
So I learned, important information from a lot of important filmmakers, important writers. Slowly but surely, all aspects, started to get better. I mean, you start, working with tremendous writers. Your writing gets better, and it's like you have to be true to yourself. It's like if you see somebody who's got, who's written things that have gone out, across the country, and all you've written are, shorts. Well, maybe you should kind of sit back and, just sit back and listen, or, stylistically pay attention. When you're working with producers who've dealt with studio caliber films, once again, there's a lot to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I've worked, multiple times with Lance Henriksen on the set. I mean, you can't help but learn when you're on the set with him in every capacity, and so, kind of putting together all these aspects at once has made me the filmmaker I am today.
Nice.
And, obviously I feel like the writing has gotten, to a level where, I've got the attention of, the Regals and AMCs, and the production, the production levels. I mean, it was so funny because, I kind of joke around, I did a movie called Monday at 11:01 a.m.
Yep.
And it was the cover of the LA Times. And, I joke around because one of the things that we need to be most cognizant of is that the critics are coming for us. They have a job to do. And it's like, don't get upset because we know what their job is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what their performance is going to be. And so I remember I was sitting there on the front page of the calendar section on the LA Times, and the critics didn't exactly love my movie, right?
Right.
Okay. And so I looked, there's two movies on the cover. Next movie was $100 million movie. Mm-hmm. The criticism, I was like, wow. I think I've made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if we're both on the cover of the magazine and they're going after both of us, I felt like I had earned a right of privilege.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
so, anyway, so that's sort of like kind of like the genesis of like how I wore, wear so many hats, because it's just sort of what you did. And luckily I put myself in a position where I continue to learn kind of in all aspects. Am I stronger at one or the other? I don't know. Possibly. I love doing them all. And I look forward to continuing to grow. And I hope my next movie comes out in 500.